Hey everybody, Chad here. In this video, we're going to talk about our environment, how our environment affects us in a positive or negative way, especially with abundance, trying to attract abundance in our life, law of attraction, law of assumption, trying to make our lives overly better. Okay, now stay with me a little bit because I always like to put a little spin on things, a different way of approaching it, a different way of looking at it. So it's not the standard way we look at our environment. But anyway, one of the things when I think about environment, this is one thing I think about, which is kind of a little bit sad because maybe you can relate to me here really quick. And I'm older now, of course. I just didn't get out of high school. I didn't just graduate college and stuff like that. But I can remember when I graduated high school. I was off for a summer, and I went away for college. So my first year of college, when I came back for that summer, okay, I would hang out with some of my friends I had in high school. But some of the friends I had in high school didn't go to college. So being from a small town at the time, lots of times in a small town, like the only job that's there that you can get, that you can make decent money, are factory jobs. So lots of times right after high school, especially for a guy, if you're not going to go to college or go off and do continual learning, you basically go into a factory. So that's what some of my friends did, or a lot of my friends did that didn't go to college. But this is the unique thing that I noticed. I remember, like, thinking back, it's kind of sad a little bit. But what I noticed was, after my first year, I came home from the summer and I was hanging out. I was hanging out at my friend's house that I went to high school with, and he had some buddies come over that we all went to high school with. They all worked in a factory, so none of them went off to college. So one of the things I noticed is that when they came in, they just acted like they hated life. And that was really sad to me at that moment. And even when I think back, it's a little bit sad because when I remember in high school, we're all like wanting to conquer the world. We're all excited. Now, some of them are funny and goofy, but only being away from them for that 1 year. It wasn't even hardly a 1 year total. It was only maybe like 9 months, 10 months until the next summer. Is they worked in a factory. I went off of school, and the factory life just sucked the life out of them. Just stole their dreams. Everything they wanted to do when they were in school, in high school, was destroyed in about 8, 9, 10 months. And that always stuck with me because I can remember, like, a few of my friends that came over that day. They just looked like, their expression on their face, their tone, their tonality, how they carried themselves. It looks like their life was crap. Like their dreams were just ripped away from them. That's how they kind of acted. And that always stuck with me because how powerful our environments are. We think, okay, we're going to go into this environment, we're going to change the environment. Okay, I really don't believe that. I used to believe it when I was really young, or we can change our environment, we can go into a bad environment and change it. But now, fast forward like 20 years, I don't know if I really believe that anymore, okay? Because when we understand the mind, we understand attraction, we understand just psychology in general, our environment's going to change us. That's just bottom line. When we stay in an environment long enough, no matter if we disagree with it, if we stay in an environment long enough, we're going to come to just relate to what we don't like. It's going to become the norm, and it's going to affect us, and it's going to rub off on us, no matter if we like it or don't like it. Okay, it's going to change us if we allow ourselves to be in that environment. Okay, it's the same environment that my friends were in. They went to a factory. And this is something I understand now because for the last year, I don't do it now, but for the last year, I worked in several factories. It was like I came back to Ohio to visit my family from Thailand. So one of the things I noticed is going into the factories, the environment just sucks. It's like working in the 1950s. Okay, even today when I'm making this video, things have not changed. Okay, in the factory life. I mean, it's a bad environment. It sucks the life out of you. It sucks your dreams away. And if you stay in it long enough, okay, it changes you. It rubs off on you. You start thinking that you can't do it. You start thinking all the dreams that you had as a kid, all the dreams that you had in high school, all the dreams that you had in high school is ripped away from you because you're hanging around people all day long that think that way because they've been in a factory longer than you. They've been in an environment longer than you, and it's going to rub off on you. And another thing that makes a factory life harder is because most of the time you're doing mandatory OT. So most of the time you're not only doing 8 hours a day, you're doing 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay, so the environment's really going to affect you. The environment is going to make you or break you. Your environment is going to make you feel like you can conquer the world, feel like that you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever life you want. Or it's going to make you feel the direct opposite. It's going to make you feel not confident. It's going to make you feel like you have to settle. It's going to make you feel that, well, only the lucky people can have what they want, but not me. It's going to make you feel that way. And one of the things I really want you to think about here, when we talk about the environment, we talk about the environment we allow ourselves in, we really have to look at and be aware of what types of environments that we're in. And I'm not talking about, okay, the environments maybe we got to eat, we hang out with a friend once in a while, okay? I really want you to think about what's the main environment you're in. What's your main environment that takes up most of your time? That's what I want you to come to terms with, okay? And if I would answer that for myself, well, one main environment that takes up most of my time is my job. Because you're there minimum of 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day. If it's a career job, you could be there 12 hours a day, working 60 hours a week. If you're in a factory, you could be working 60 hours a week, 12-hour days. Then maybe you're off on the weekend. So look at it this way. What takes up most of your time is your job. So that job, inside your job, you're going to have your job. You're going to be influenced by the managers and supervisors, how they think, what they want you to do. You're also going to be influenced by the other employees all around you. Even if you don't agree with them, you're hearing them talk all the time. Okay, it's in your ear like you're sitting there watching a TV movie. You know what I mean? You're listening to stuff in the background. You're listening to it day in and day out, day in and day out. Even if you don't agree with them, after a while, you start agreeing with them. Why is that? Because you're constantly listening to it. So you have so many people in that environment that is influencing you and you don't know it. That's affecting you, positive or negative, but you don't know it. See, that's what awareness is. Once we're aware of it, we can do something about it and change it. Okay, what's your environment doing to you? What's your job, your current situation doing to you? I want you to think about this. Is it motivating you or is it sucking the life out of you? There's lots of times if you think back, and I'll use me for an example, the last year or almost year, I jumped around at factories. So I came back to Ohio in a small town. I didn't have that much time. I didn't think I was going to be here a year, really. I thought I was just come in for a few months and go back to Thailand, but I stayed here longer. But this is what I found out when I started jumping around to factories. At first, when I started gung-ho, Mr. Positive, Mr. Chad, conquer the world. I have my dreams, the goals of what I'm accomplishing, what I want to do. But this is what I found. When I went into those environments, the negative environments of the factories, over time, I started here, and over time, slowly, I start getting a little bit more negative, and I start going down, trying not to block my face. Now way down here, and I started feeling depressed. Leave my hands here for a reason. I start feeling depressed. I start feeling anxiety. I started feeling like grumpy all the time. I started feeling I was on edge, even when I was hanging out with my family, my mom, my dad. Not my dad, but my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, nephew. I started feeling, not overnight or anything, but gradually I started feeling more on edge, more grumpy, more argumentative, more of a sour a sour feel to life. I started like doubting the process, like doubting that I can go back to Thailand, doubting I can achieve what I want. You know what I mean? All because of being in that environment 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. When I went to work, I was automatic. I started off kind of happy. My mind just went in the gutter for 12 hours. So for 12 hours, my mind's in the gutter. Okay. And I'm way down here. Finally, I had enough. I knew it wasn't a good place for me. It wasn't a good environment for me. So then I switched jobs, not careers, but I was already in a career, but switched jobs, went back more to a professional career. And when I started, I'm going to be down here again, okay? But that's kind of where it drugged me. But then what I noticed was when I put myself into a more positive environment, I gradually start going up. It doesn't happen overnight, but I gradually start going up. And I start going up. And each day kind of builds on one another. Each week kind of builds on one another. And you get more and more positive. And you come back to where you feel confident. You feel like you can conquer the world. You can feel like you can achieve your goals. You can feel like you can get what you want. That's what we got to do. We got to access what we're doing. And the reason why I talk about this is because usually our job, our career, that takes up most of our time. So we really have to look at the environment that we're in. And if you really hate your job, well, I would suggest really changing it. I'm not saying you go to work tomorrow and you quit, but definitely start coming home and start looking at other opportunities. Put yourself in better environments. Your environment is going to make you or break you. Your environment is going to make your dreams come true, or it's going to crumble all your dreams. Okay? So it's just like you've always heard of, you become or you are the 5 top people that you hang around the most. You ever heard that? Usually if you follow personal development, we've heard it at one point or another. That you become like the top 5 people you hang around. But what people do is they're not really honest with themselves, okay? They think like, well, I don't hang around with anybody negative. I hardly hang around with Billy and Jim. They're the most negative people I know. I hardly hang around with this person. But you don't do it the right way. People don't do it the right way. Even myself, okay, I used to not do it the right way. When you start thinking about who's the top 5 people you hang around, you start thinking about friends way back 20 years ago in high school. You know what I mean? You don't talk about current situation right now. Who's the top 5 people? Let me give you an example. Your top 5, you're probably your top person you hang around is your wife or husband or significant other, boyfriend or girlfriend. Hands down, that's probably the top person you hang around. So that person right there is going to be heavily influenced on you, positive or negative. Okay? We don't think about this. We don't think about this stuff. We're not really honest with ourselves. I just did a video on that, so I think it's going to be posted tomorrow or the next day. I forget. Okay, about being brutally honest with yourself. You want to get better, you want to achieve a better life, you have to start being real with yourself. I mean, that's the top person that hangs around you the most. If you have a girlfriend or if you're married or a significant other you live with, okay? Then it could come with it. Now the next one could come with a best friend, maybe a roommate that you hang around, your best buds you hang around all the time. See what I'm doing? It could be family. Maybe you hang around a sibling, a brother and sister all the time, or mom and dad all the time. Your other one is coworkers at work. We just talked about this. We don't think about our coworkers, but that's the environment we're in at least minimum 40 hours a week. Okay? We're not hanging around them like a friend. We're kind of forced to be around them, but we're there 40 hours a week. We're hearing them talk. We're not telling them to shut up, I don't want to hear you. You know what I mean? At work. Okay? You're listening to it no matter if you want to listen to it or not. You're listening to them no matter if you want to listen to them or not. You're listening to their philosophies of life no matter if you want to listen to it or not. You're hearing them bicker and complain all day long no matter if you want to hear it or not. You see what I'm doing? Okay? You have to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to go deep within yourself and just be honest. That's how you create change. That's how you get better. But the issue is that we're not totally honest with ourselves. First, you have to be aware of what's going on, aware of what you're doing, aware of your bad habits. When we talk about laws of attraction, abundance, why things are not working, why things are not coming to me, we have to be aware of it, what's going on. Maybe it's my mind. Maybe it's my mindset. Maybe I'm thinking negative all through the day. Okay. Maybe you start catching yourself grumpy and you start dissecting it a little bit of why do I feel grumpy? And I don't want to go on and on and on about this. This is really stem from being aware of your environment. Okay. Being aware of your surroundings, being aware of people you hang out with. Because it's going to make or it's going to break you. It's going to make you feel like you can conquer the world, or it's going to make you feel like you want to throw everything in a trash can. Okay, my friends? Okay, my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. Blessings to you. Make sure you comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. Let me know how everything's going, and I will see you in the next video.